Well, welcome everyone to Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose Virtual Summit. I am so excited to be here. I've been excited since the moment to be gratefully asked to be co-producer, co-publisher with this amazing group and being on this journey. So today we're here to celebrate. We're here to stand in our purpose and what we brought forth and why we were called to be part of this project. And we're here to celebrate. All right. So first off, if we are going to celebrate this person, first of all, this person, her greatest gift, she sees others at their highest point, at their highest greatness, even when they don't. She is a multimedia mogul. She is in platforms, radio, TV, publishing. She has over 20 published books herself. She is filled with generosity, and her vision is to bring others forward in their calling as they step into their voice and they bring their work forward in publishing and wherever else they get to be in this world. I am always grateful to be associated, to be friends, and most of all, to be working with this most amazing woman. So, with no further ado, I am talking about the Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Rebecca, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I am so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to the summit for months and months and months. It's been on my calendar. Every time I looked at it, I smiled, and I'm just so excited that it's here today. So Maureen, thank you so much for your beautiful introduction. Very honored to be here and honored to have you as my co-compiler and co-producer on this journey as we lean in to bring this book forward, this summit forward. And I want to welcome everyone who's leaning in to join us today. So today is the step into I want to underline your brilliant purpose. This is an opportunity that we get to come together and pour into you to support you on your journey. This summit was inspired by the book, Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose. You'll see that in my background right here, the picture of the cover. And it was released earlier in March, and it became a #1 international bestseller. It was really powerfully and positively received, which we celebrate. And I'm really excited that now we have this opportunity to come together and share some of the amazing insights and expertise of the amazing leaders that leaned in to be part of this project. It was a collaborative effort. You're going to be so deeply served. I know you're going to be enriched by our conversation today. And I want to take a moment and help us really connect in so we can get the most out of our time together today, because I know you're here on purpose, because you said yes when you saw that email come through, or that post in social media. You said yes again when you registered. And then you said yes again today to coming in, tuning in, and being here today. And I honor that and I celebrate that. But I also want to claim it for you, because there is a reason that you tuned in today. That means there is something for you. We have come together and we are committed to serving and supporting you. All of our speakers beforehand, we were talking a little bit about being willing to go with the flow and bring forward what is being called to serve, even if it's a little bit different than what we thought we were going to share, or even maybe what we prepared, but being open to really be present and to serve in that space. So I want you to feel that connection. I want you to know it's here, and you're going to have opportunities throughout our time together to participate, to send in questions and comments. We have our team watching, and they're going to share those with us so we can weave them into the conversation today. If you're happening to watch the replay, then I want to encourage you to participate as well. You can still reach out to us. You can still send questions. We're going to share contact information as we share. And that's on purpose. It's not because we have to, it's because we want to connect with you. We want to share with you. So please lean into those opportunities and know that this isn't a solo journey. This is an opportunity for us to come alongside together, even doing it in a virtual format. It is not time sensitive. So anytime you're coming across this video, if you're happening to watch the replay, then there's a purpose for that. There's a reason for that. So look for that, be listening for that, be open to that. So let's take a moment to really connect in. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, like through a straw. Great. When I'm in front of a live audience, I always tell everybody to close their eyes. So I love that so many of our speakers are doing that. I encourage you to do that as well. And I would always tease them saying, and I can see if you don't, and I might give you up. So I can't see this time if you are or aren't. So whatever serves you best is great. I like to close my eyes because it helps me focus in and not be distracted by shiny objects. Beautiful. So as you're breathing and becoming centered, just feel that breath. We're moving so fast. I find sometimes I'm not even fully feeling my lungs. Feels great to stretch them. And it helps me become present. So as your eyes are closed and you're feeling in, taking those breaths, notice your heartbeat. In fact, it helps sometimes if you put both your hands on your heart and you can feel that beat. This breathing, this mindfully, purposely connecting in and noticing helps us lower our stress levels. It helps us lower our cortisol levels, become present. As we breathe in, we're bringing that beautiful oxygen to every cell in our body. And as we breathe out, we're releasing what no longer serves, and it creates space for more. So in this space, as you're listening to your heartbeat, enjoying just being and breathing, what is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage you, empower you, support you? What do you need today? Real time. That you are willing to receive because you absolutely have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? Don't have to figure out how or why or even understand. It's just identifying what is it you need today to support you in claiming your purpose, stepping into it, into your brilliant purpose. What do you need? Receive that information. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Take a deep breath. Come back into the room, fully present. Sometimes I even move around a little bit, like it moves that air around. I want to make sure it gets to every cell in the body, and we can move. It's allowed, even in front of the camera. Sometimes we can be more formal, and all of you who are watching, we can't see you, so you can move around a lot, whatever serves you and supports you. But I want to invite you to choose to be present. This is your time. You don't have to be the leader, the teacher, all the different roles that we have in life. This is your opportunity to be poured into. So be open, ready to receive. I encourage you to get a piece of paper, write down thoughts as they come through, or those aha moments, or something that strikes you. And it might be something that is shared. It might be something that bubbles up within you because of something that was shared, or the space that's being held. So let's capture that information. It's on purpose. And it's so easy to let it float on by and miss it, or have it swirling around inside us. So take time today to receive, to capture, take those notes as they come to you so you can start to interact with it. And so first note you can take today is what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need. Sometimes we don't know. And so we can miss it when it's in front of us because we forgot to look, or we didn't see it because we were moving so fast. So really being open to what's here for you. And I want you to celebrate. So we get to check a thing off the list for those of you who have lists. I'm a list person. I'm Rebecca Hall Gruyter. I love lists. I love to check things off the list. If it's not on my list and I do it, I add it to the list so I can check it off. So if you don't have this on your list today and you're a list person, I'm going to invite you to add that you showed up for you today. Coming to the summit, let's check that off and celebrate that. And I'm honored that we get to be part of your day, that we get to lean in and be part of this conversation. And that's what it is. It's a conversation. It's an opportunity for us to share from our gifts, from our talents, to really pour into you. And what I hope you gain from today are some tips and insights, an action you can take, or a way that you can start to shift and be more to help you on your path to stepping into your brilliant purpose. I believe each of you are beautifully, purposely, and powerfully made on purpose by design for exactly where we are today. For each of us, you're needed in your space, in your world, in your circle of influence. But here's what I also believe. I believe you're needed beyond that circle that knows about you currently. I believe you have amazing gifts and talents and abilities that are in you, that are taking seed and are growing. And as they grow, they can reach out and shine and impact other people in a powerful way. You are absolutely needed in this garden of life. And I want you to bloom. I want you to shine. I want you to be able to bring your gifts forward. And I believe being more fully who you are is key to stepping into your brilliant purpose. So today, be listening for those things that help you become more of who you are and less of what is not truly yours. You can let it go, release it, and have more energy to be who you are and celebrate how you're made. So be listening for those things that can support and encourage you on your journey. We're just thrilled, honored to be connecting in with you. And I want to give us a couple of mindsets for today, because sometimes it's helpful to have a little bit of a container or some framework as we go through a content-filled experience and a opportunity to be present and kind of let it pour into you. Sometimes it's helpful to know a way to perhaps hold the information as it comes. And take the tips that we share that serve, release those that don't. So don't feel like this framework is something you have to do and it's on your list and it's a job. It's really designed to support you, and trust that you're going to receive what serves, and we'll have the replay so you can always plug in again, listen again as it serves. So don't worry about missing something or not being able to capture everything that's here. Just be present, trust, take notes as they serve. But here's a couple of reminders around mindsets or things to think about. So one, life is not a solo journey. I don't know where the myth got started. I don't know why people believe it is, but it is not a solo journey. And in fact, you have an opportunity. And today is a perfect example of us coming together and walking beside each other and walking with you. So receive that, feel that support. It's not just information, it's a connection. Feeling that and trusting that, and what comes through and what you feel too is also as valuable as what you're discovering or the insights or the information. So remember, life isn't a solo journey. We can allow that support in, lean into it, and be willing to share it. Secondly, and this is a quote, I kept moving it around this morning, so let me grab it, that was so laid on my heart for today. Because when we're talking about stepping into your purpose and we're talking about sharing a little bit more of who you are, it can feel a little bit vulnerable, because it's like trusting the world with more of you and taking away some of that shield. So here's what I want to remind you of. Promise me, you will always remember you're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Christopher Robin to Winnie the Pooh. So important for us to remember and to know that that is true. I encourage you to be fully present. Resist the urge to multitask, which we so love to do. Choose to be present. Give yourself the gift of this time together. I promise we'll finish on time. So any of those things that are pulling at you, you can put them to the side in a nice, lovely container with a lid on it that you'll pick it up after our time together. This is your time. Let's really embrace it and be fully present. And listen to and feel. So listen and feel where you have that pull with something that's being shared today. And perhaps there's a particular expert that you just feel this leaning into and you want more and you want to connect on a deeper level. Lean into that. Listen to that. Everyone here would be honored to connect with you. They're here for that, to come alongside you, to share with you, to empower you. For those of you who have the book, Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose, you'll find all of their beautiful contact information at the end of every chapter with the picture, just in case you're trying to remember the name and the picture and all of that. It's all in the book. And I'm going to let you know what page each of their chapters are on so you can learn more about them, because I'm just going to give you a little snippet today and you can connect with them and go deeper. I'm also going to have them share their contact information today. So we're going to be easy to connect with, easy to find. So be listening for that and really take that as an invitation to connect in and go deeper. And then I encourage you to carve out time at the end, even though I know we're ending on time, like I promised, we're going to finish on time. Carve out an extra couple bonus moments for you. I give you that gift today, extra time. So take a couple minutes just for you to process when it's complete. Don't just rush out into the day, but really give yourself that transition time. And as you breathe in all the beautiful information and insights that have been shared with you or experiences, be willing to take that in, breathe, and then choose, because you get to choose how you step forward into the day. Don't let it run you. You get to choose. So take a couple moments at the end to just kind of take a breath, ground in those things, hook in those things that serve you so they become part of you and integrate with you as you step into the day. So there's just some of my tips to get the most out of our time together today. And one of the things I experienced on this journey that I want to touch into on the cover of the book, because I think this helps see some of the vision of what we're hoping you receive today. And we hope that you receive, for those of you who do lean into getting a copy of the book. And I just see a little reminder. So if you don't have a copy of the book, you are not excluded. I want to let you know how you can go to Amazon and you can look it up, Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose, and you'll see it there on Amazon. And lean in and get a copy. So it is available in both a Kindle format and a print format, depending on what serves you most. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I want a copy and they won't tell me how. So now you know how to get it. You can go on Amazon and get a copy. But I want you to take a minute and look at the cover here. And do you notice that the front, it has this kind of grayscale, cloudy image that has a door in the middle. And if you look closely, you see that it's the same image. But this door, when it opens up and you look at going through, it shines this light through. It shines this pathway, now bringing additional colors and vibrancy to your world. And that's what we see happens when we can step into our brilliant purpose. When you can step into your unique brilliant purpose, it's like you open that door and you get to step into all of those colors, all of that vibrancy, and bring that full experience into your world and into your life. And it's a little bit different door for every person. So there's enough doors for everybody. And here's the opportunity to step through it. So today we're excited to support you in that. So maybe you're discovering, oh my goodness, there is a door. And I didn't know that about myself, or I'm excited to figure out how to step through there. Maybe you're already stepping through there and looking for some tips and ways to continue that journey. Wherever you are in that path, be looking for those things that bring in more of you, more vibrancy, increase your vibration, bring more of you forward. That's what you want to be looking for and listening for today. Very honored again to have you joining us. And I was going to start our conversation by introducing the lovely Maureen Ryan Blake, who I had the privilege and honor of introducing me as she opened up our time together today. And Maureen, I love. And so honored that she felt a calling and leaned in to say yes to be part of this journey and to lean in and help lead this project. And so she's our co-compiler, which means we're the leader of the project. It's an anthology, which means multiple authors come together and they each write a section and a chapter. And it's such an honor to hold space and get to navigate together. So I'm really honored to introduce our beautiful Maureen. And here's some of what I wanted to share with you about her. So she is a #1 international bestselling author multiple times over, #1 international bestselling compiler, and she is a online TV show host, executive coach, and holds dual masters in leadership and diplomacy. She's a coach and graduate from HCL Transformational Leadership. Her professional career started on Wall Street. So she has that amazing financial background and experience, and she moved into facilitating millions of dollars in federal grants, establishing mentoring and coaching programs for youth and adults to live on purpose while getting experience working in companies and organizations and supporting them. She is the founder of Power of the Tribe Network and leader of that. And she also specializes in helping create a space for you to shine. So she holds that space and stands for you. And I love that about her. And she's passionate about leading from generosity. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and the dynamic Maureen Ryan Blake. Welcome.
Coming up is being humbled and grateful. And so this project has been amazing, and it continued to open up more doors and emotions and experiences and connection as we continue to move forward from the beginning. That is now 2 years, year and a half since we first started talking about this. And to the launch, and so now here, and what we created together. That I knew what that would be in theory, in a book, but what came forward, what came through that door, what came through with all of us coming together is just priceless. And I would not have imagined how amazing it would be, even if you had told me. And within that, then I just want to say thank you to all of you. And so I'm sitting here taking this in, and when I'm thinking about why I was called, why did I say yes? And the first thing that came to mind was that, first of all, that I was in a place of trust. I was in a community that I purposely built, purposely opened, purposely stayed vulnerable to bring that forward and be part of. And that is where I would say, with anyone that is in any place in their life, it's all about connection. It's all about being. It's all about surrounding yourself with other amazing people who you get to be strong. You get to be vulnerable, you get to be imperfect, and you get to make mistakes, and you also get to support each other. That's the magic in life. So on that background, on that foundation, I again have a mentor, a friend, someone I deeply respect and love, came to me and said, would you be part of this project? Would you be part of this book? And I'm like, I love the cover, yes. Because I always say yes to Rebecca, because you know what? That's how you get to live life when you're in a place of trust and community. Say yes, stretch, say yes. So that's my next piece, is that if you're a little bit uncomfortable, if there's that little like stirring in your stomach and you're getting nervous, it's resistance, yes, then that means even more lean in and do it. So that was where, so my immediate response was yes. And then the the other authors came on board as I got to meet them and know them and share with them and create with them. And now we're here, and now it's out there. And with that, I would just say that these are the tidbits that are in there. They're of all of us standing for you to step through that door, to grip, to claim your purpose, because we are all here. We're all here collectively as one, and each of us have that journey that only you can fulfill. And that is my purpose. My purpose is bringing women around the world to come together, to stand in their voice and their power, and collectively, unity, make this world a better place. And Sam, I adore you. And I am so grateful you are here and you are part of the collective of so many layers of my community and the community. I'm grateful for you. So Sam, you are very much collectively in the heart with the rest of us. And so, okay, so what do I do? So yes, I'm a TV show host, which I get to be on the Voice America as well as the Empowerment Channel with the gracious Rebecca Hall Gruyter, who creates all of this because that's how amazing she is. And I get to bring best-selling authors forward as they complete their project and realize that the next step is, what do I do next? I'm an international bestseller. And it's in that space of trust and gaining their trust that I get to interview them and bring them forward and allow them to shine. And then within that, then we make them superstars on YouTube and we bring them forward and we create their presence so they can continue creating and continue bringing forward their message and allowing others to find them. And I can't think of a better thing to do, nor play in this community or bring others forward. And again, I feel grateful. I continually to feel humbled of the presence with so many amazing women and men and being able to do this work. And what's great is that it continues to surprise me how much when you hold space for others, there's more space to hold and to source, because that's what we're here for. And it is beyond crawl for to shine in a time when oftentimes light needs to be shined. And I'm going to leave it with, there was someone so brilliant, and we may know who I'm talking about again, because I'm talking about Rebecca. So Rebecca said to me, and she said to us, when it's dark, the light shines brighter. And you, all of you watching are light. And you get to let your light shine. And that first step is reaching out and find others to bring forward together, because that's where the magic happens. So that's where I was called forth today and with this book. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful because it's now its own. And it's out there and you can't take it back, which is something else that's interesting when you're continuing to step forward. Just keep saying yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Maureen. I so appreciate that. And I love that reminder to keep saying yes, keep taking those steps. And you are right. Once it's released out in the world, you can't take it back. It's out there. It's impacting, it's touching people's lives. It's rippling out. And I think that's a gift and an opportunity, because sometimes we hold things so tight and we keep playing with them and trying to make it just right. And we keep doing that for years and years and years. And yet it could be out there serving all along the way, every step that we're taking. So I encourage you to find those ways to keep sharing. And thank you so much for that reminder that when it does seem dark and it feels like it's all around us, our light can shine even brighter. It can be seen from a further distance. It can impact and reach more people. And one of the things I've discovered in this journey is that people don't know you care. They don't know that you have things that can help them if you don't tell them. If they can't see you, if they can't hear you, if they don't see that light shining for them, they don't know. If there's no by osmosis that they can just kind of guess that you're standing for them, or you have a way that can encourage them, uplift them. So be generous in sharing your light and shining. And sometimes you can be that one spark, that one light that made such a difference for someone in that moment and in that day. And I encourage you, if you have something burning within you to share and to bring forward, to be willing to do that, to stand, be willing to extend your hand, to be willing to be really easy to find by those who need you most, because the world needs you. Absolutely. Especially at times like this. Let's together be willing to share our gifts. And Maureen, thank you for your beautiful share. It just touched my heart and inspired me, and I'm really carrying forward. And I love that when we hold space for others, there's more space. Can you say that again? It was so powerful the way you said it.
When you hold space for others, then there suddenly is more space to hold, and we get to source the energy and allow it to flow through us, that the universe is sourcing through us, that we were created here to give, because it is all about giving. It's all about getting out of our own way and serving others, and then things become clear as we do it together.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And I love that there's not a finite, like it's going to suddenly go away and there's no more space we can hold, but it actually creates more, and we can create more. And together we can really ripple out and make an amazing difference in the world. So I'm excited to see that. And we're here holding space for each and every one of you. So know that and feel that. And we're getting ready to start to talk with each of our amazing co-authors that are joining us today. These are individuals that leaned in to be part of this project, part of this journey. This means a year, maybe a year and a half ago, they got that calling and they leaned in and said yes. And so they're going to share today a little bit of why this project called to them and continues to call to them, why they said yes. We have so many things that can pull our time and our attention and demands on that, and things that we get to choose from. And they all felt called to be part of this, and they leaned in and said yes. And so they're going to share some of what that was and why, and what they're hoping that you discover and learn from today, from their chapter. And then they're also going to share tips of how you can step into your brilliant purpose and their contact information. So lots of great things that you're going to get to lean into and receive. So I'm excited. And just one share I wanted to give around the book is when it was shared out into the world. Not only did it become a #1 international bestseller, but I'm actually pulling my notes here. It became a bestseller in 5 countries. So in the US, UK, France, Australia, and Canada, reaching 43 best-selling categories. And so I just celebrate that with all of you, because it's not only each of us leaning in and saying yes, but you helped us spread the word out so we could touch hearts and lives. So you helped us shine brighter. You helped us reach more hearts and lives. And we wouldn't be able to do that without all of you. So I acknowledge that. And I thank you for entrusting us and our messages and helping us bring them forward. And I'm just thrilled that you're joining us today. And I know as you get a chance to have a taste and meet some of our amazing experts, that you're going to be you're touched and inspired. And Maureen, I realized before I start to go into each of the interviews, I didn't have you share your contact information, which I just promised I would do. So Maureen, can you share, how can people connect with you and go deeper?
Well, because I'm not going anywhere. So the fun place to step in and become part of the community and is find us on Facebook at the Power of the Tribe members. Or you can also find us on YouTube Maureen Ryan Blake. You can find me on our YouTube channel. Send us a message, pop in, join the group though, because what we get to do is we are community. And within that, then once we're in community, we have amazing authors coming as part of the community. So whether you are looking to be an author, thinking about being an author, or just love the process of books and authors and dialogue, that's what happens there, as well as continuing to stand forward. But yeah, I'm Maureen at thepowerofthetribe.com. But yeah, join the Facebook group. Come on, the powerofthetribemembers.com. Come on in and let's have some fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maureen. I appreciate that. And as we step into introducing each of our amazing experts, I hope that you write down some of those contact points so that you can continue the connection and the conversation. The way we've organized our summit today, we've broken it into 3 major sections because in our book, we have 3 major sections. So we organized the chapters. We're going to go through in the same order because I feel like it takes you on a nice flow in the journey of stepping into your brilliant purpose. So the 3 sections are connecting with your purpose. So how do we connect? So the first group of authors are from those sections and going to be speaking from that vibration as they help connect with you. The next section is step into your brilliant purpose. So we've connected. Now we're stepping into it. And the third is step forward and shine. So as we step into our purpose, we can continue to step forward, shine, and share that out so we can be those lights and we can really make that impact that we're called to have. So that's kind of the organization. Just so if you're wondering, how do I hold all of this brilliant information that's going to be coming and insights, those are the containers that we've created for today. And then you can design and receive in all the ways that serve you best. So with that, I'm excited to introduce you to another Maureen. So I love that we have 2 Maureens in our beautiful book. And Maureen is she's the very first chapter in the book, and she's in the first section. Her chapter, for anyone who's following along, is on page 11. So if you want to flip and see, yep, the picture matches, that's Maureen. There you go. I'm excited to have you do that. And I'm just going to give you a snapshot again. Everyone here is just amazing. You're going to love them. And I'm just giving you highlights. If you want to go in and dig deeper, you'll be able to see more information about each of them in the book and the full bios, which I encourage you to check out. So Maureen Famiano is an award-winning media expert, #1 international bestselling author. She has her broadcast experience. How do I summarize this? Her broadcast experience ranges over 35 years. She just has an amazing range of experience in the broadcast world as a television news reporter, producer, and executive producer. She's worked at NBC WFLA for 17 years as a news producer, and then an executive producer of the syndicated shows like Daytime, Star Watch, and Reel, REEL, Animals Fishing. She founded MEF Media in 2019 to help organizations and businesses gain media attention. She has served in so many ways, including as a community ambassador for the Super Bowl in Tampa. She's hosted TEDx Women Tampa. She is passionate, underlined passionate, about helping you share your story in a way that gets results and media attention that it deserves. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Maureen Famiano. Welcome.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much. So nice to see you. So nice to be a part of this with another Maureen. We're not common Maureens, so it's nice to be here. And what a wonderful project to be a part of. Step into your brilliant purpose. I think what's so important about anybody watching the replay is we all have a purpose. We may not think about what it is. And I think being a part of this project helped me to think about what is my purpose. So as you nicely kind of went back over my journey of my career and my purpose of broadcasting and journalism and telling stories, and I pivoted during my career from the hard news to the good stories, the positive stories, because I think people need to hear that. It's not only bad in the world, there's some good stuff happening too. Many times we missed it. And as I can share about my chapter and my journey is, I often gravitated before, now, and when I leave this meeting today, I will find more good. I think I'm a magnet for it. And I love when I walk into meetings and people know me, or they've seen me or see what I post about. They're like, "You're the one who tells the good stories." I'm like, that's a pretty good way to be remembered or to be thought of. And I love that. And for me, for the years I've been doing this, it is about my purpose of the good stories. And I think anybody listening out here, I would challenge people to think, what is your story? Not what's your story, but what is your story? Why are you unique? Why are you different? You are. You may not think about it, but you are. We all have that unique way to connect with people. We've been through something. We've built a business, a family business. We've raised children on our own with family members, whatever it is, that's part of the who you are. And I tell people that all of that goes to your purpose in terms of letting other people know, oh, I can do it because you did it, or they're doing a good job at it. Maybe I have to give myself more credit or more belief that I can do it too. In my book chapter here, it's called Making a Difference One Story at a Time. I kind of alluded to that because I believe everybody has a story. And in my broadcast world, I loved meeting the celebrities, the fun people. I had that really great opportunity to work with some cool people who came through our community in Tampa Bay and in parts of New York where I work. That was awesome. But what really made me most happy is meeting the everyday people, the people who were just doing good things, who didn't know how to share it, didn't even know they should share it until I'd ask a couple of questions. And I'm like, wait a minute, we need to talk about that too in the segment. And they would say, no, no. And I would say, yes, yes. And then we would share it. And then afterwards they say, oh my goodness, I didn't think it mattered. And I said, of course it matters. It's what making you unique. So that's what I love to do. And in doing that, and getting that great joy out of doing that, it became part of my purpose. The other part was pausing, because we all should. We don't, but we have to pause to take stock in what's going on in our world and in what's going on in our lives. And we've all been getting through this crazy last 2 years of COVID and getting through it and being on the other side of it. But what that means is some things haven't been happening. And that probably means not going to the doctor, not making those appointments because we couldn't get in, we couldn't get the screenings, and that wasn't good. So I challenge you all, perhaps in the next week, make it on your to-do list. If you're writing down notes, make a list. I need to call my doctor, because here's why. Pre-COVID, I had no excuse except I was too busy. That I did notice something and I didn't pay attention because I'm a doctor, right? No, I'm not. But I said it's nothing because I thought it was nothing. Well, long story short, it ended up being something. And that something ended up being colon cancer, stage 3. Me? Even the doctor, I think, was surprised to share that with me when he saw me, when he opened the door. He wasn't expecting what he saw. A vibrant, fairly enthusiastic, even when I was going to get bad news person, but he shared with me the bad news and I had to figure out what my journey looked like. So it was a crazy journey of a lot of stuff, aggressive treatments, surprises along the way. But in that journey, I did it. I asked a lot of questions. I became my own advocate, that I guess became an advocate for others, because I decided I shouldn't just keep my journey to myself. I should share what's part of my story now. And in sharing, I often find people reach out to me to say, okay, she did it. Maybe she can help me or guide me. Even if it's a little bit different, she might give me ideas of what I need to do or ask the questions. So I think Rebecca and Maureen, overseeing this project, that's become part of my purpose. And in finding this opportunity, it kind of hit me on the head that I need to share and I need to be a part of it. So it's very rewarding for me to be a part of it. It's rewarding to hear people hear the journey, read the chapter, and react to it. And in sharing recently, I did a TEDx on this as well, about the what if scenario. What if you ignore things and what could happen? Be it be it life and journeys and relationships? Or what if you say, maybe I should ask questions? Maybe I shouldn't settle. Where does that lead you? And I've heard people react having heard that, and I'm getting confirmation this is what I'm supposed to do. So what should people listening do? They should figure out what their story is. What is your story? What's your purpose? Because you have one. How can you share, and maybe being a little bit vulnerable, that will help other people be stronger and get through it? Because together we're better. If we can share and help, and you hear back from somebody that you helped, wow, you can't put a price tag on that. It's just a wonderful feeling of connecting and helping and lifting people up. So I tell people, connect, share, figure out what your story is. And in my world of media and marketing, figure out that unique proposition of who you are, because that will make people remember you better, stronger, want to connect, want to be your friend, want to have your own scenario, be it around the country, the world, or in your own backyard. And I have my mantra, which is the what if. And I also have the mantra of together we win, because I believe it. And if we're better together, we can win. So that's what I would say to people. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been such a joy to be a part of. I'm still growing and embracing what's been happening because of it. And I still need to pause to take more time to pay attention to it. And I would say, I wish people luck. They can do it. They can make a difference, and share your story. How can people get a hold of me? There are 500 ways. Wait, we all have that. I would say the best way maybe is by email. Let's do email. And that is Maureen, common spelling behind Rebecca there on the book title, Maureen, Maureen, and then at my company name, MEF, think of it as Magnificent, Enthusiastic, Fantastic Media.com. Thank you so much. And it's been a part of it. So nice to meet all the other authors who did amazing work too. It's been great.
Oh, beautiful. Maureen, thank you. I know we're trying to do the quiet clap, and we can do this too, the jazz hands. I love that. So beautiful share. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your contact information and being willing to share some of your story and your journey with us. And that reminder of asking those questions, following that path and being willing to be vulnerable and share, because it does make a difference and it helps. And that is part of shining our light. Beautiful, Maureen. Thank you so much for being part of this project and for sharing today. I deeply appreciate it. Wonderful. Well, I want to give everyone just a moment to breathe in what Maureen shared and just kind of see what hits you, what strikes you. If there's a question or a comment, please feel free to share. We're watching our Facebook groups and our YouTube channel that these are sharing out. So if you see comments or things there, feel free to put comments, etc. there, and we'll be happy to weave them into our conversation. And we'd love to know that things are maybe hitting home, encouraging, something's kind of struck you already. So take a moment and just kind of breathe in, receive. Beautiful. And we're going to transition to our next amazing guest, Abby. So as we take that moment to transition, everyone's excited and clapping already. I love that. I love that we are getting to cheer each other on and celebrate each other. I think that's so important. Sometimes we forget that. We get so serious, or we don't remember to cheer each other on and encourage each other. And it just lifts everybody. That's one of those gifts that just keeps giving, as it lifts us up and makes us smile the more we share that kind of energy out. So before we even introduce, we are clapping and welcoming the amazing Abby. And let me share just a little bit about her. So Abby Daw is a #1 international bestselling author, teacher, and has been teaching and leading for over 18 years. She has registered 200 hours and 500 hours of yoga as a yoga instructor and 300 hours as a registered yoga therapist. She is an entrepreneur at heart and has won an entrepreneurial award of the year in 2015 for the Salt Lake City Women's Business Center. She's the founder of the Magic Experience membership. She's a mentor and coach and a tuned Reiki practitioner. She's passionate about helping you heal and live a full life of joy. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, flexible, and dynamic Abby Dahl. Welcome.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I feel so honored to follow and piggyback from both Maureen's and you, Rebecca. So the first question is, right, that why did I choose to be a part of this? I'm 40. I spent probably 40 of my years of my life, well, maybe 38, running from myself. I ran multiple marathons around the world. Some of the fastest marathons I took after my father. I was born in a religion that told me I couldn't be who I was because I am a gay woman. And so I spent my entire life running from myself. One day, I got a clear message. I was working in corporate America after I'd given up on some of the dreams that I thought would be a success because they all failed. So I was just calling myself a failure. I had severe postpartum anxiety. And I was standing in line. It was July 4th, 2019, waiting for soft served ice cream at corporate America that they had surprised all the employees with that day. And everyone was jumping for joy for soft served ice cream. And I was standing in line and I was like, wait a minute. I don't care about soft served ice cream and I don't want this to be my excitement in life. So I chose to, instead of running from my deeper power, just like what Maureen said, I said yes to my calling in that moment. And I decided to allow things to go wrong in order for things to go right. And I was scared my entire life for things to go right. Actually, I was scared of my power. I was scared of my joy versus my struggle. So I began as a yoga teacher already for 18 years of my life, decided to move into the strengthening my nervous system to tell myself that fear is my friend. And I became resilient in my nervous system. And I allowed myself to stop resisting joy. And I started to advocate for my inner 8-year-old child. And I told myself, even if I didn't believe at 38 years old that I was worthy, she was. And eventually I talked myself into believing that that inner 8-year-old was my 40-year-old future that was worthy, luxury. And I began to desire a bigger life. And through what accidentally became a business that I didn't plan, worked because it was what worked for me. And I started running and I started writing because my dream is to be an author. And I got connected with Rebecca through one of my book mentors, who I love very much. And the rest is history. I became a part of this anthology to share my story and my light about fear.
Powerful.
So yeah, that was why I chose to be a part of the book. The next question is what? Rebecca, is there another question?
I was taking in your share, just so powerful. Thank you for sharing your beautiful journey. And I love that you have stepped into becoming a published author too, that you leaned into that and found that worth, starting with the 8-year-old self to today. I so appreciate that journey and story, and leaning in to be part of this project. So I'm curious, as we reflect on the journey and all that's led up to this very moment, is there something on your heart that surprised you of what it was like to be part of something like this, and maybe something you discovered about stepping into your brilliant purpose in the process leading through today?
A lot of things have surprised me along the way, but I realized when the pandemic hit and I started realizing that fear was our friend, but people saw it as this terrible thing. And if I befriended it, I could inspire the world. And when I began to befriend fear, I became the most powerful self by then, instead of pushing away like what I didn't want to happen, I allowed for things to drop away. And then everything, all the joy and all that be through fear as the threshold came through in my wildest dreams. And I realized the things that failed before was because I was saved for something much greater. And so I started to celebrate fear, and that fear surprised me because it's now my best friend. And I want to share with readers in this book that see things as like that you think are terrible as good news. Like Maureen had colon cancer, and I know it's terrible diagnosis, but that changed her life. And for me being gay, I hated that diagnosis. And that is now my best, like, freaking treasure. And I was told that it sucked, that you are broken. And it's now something I celebrate. And it is why I am here to help people who have this disease to know that it's not that, along with other things, that it is our greatest treasure, and that fear is deceiving because it actually is here to help you and to make you your greatest self. So that's why I wanted to share this, because so many people are out there hating on who they are, but just advocate for your inner 8-year-old or your future 80-year-old. I just want to make those two people happy, my future 80-year-old and my 8-year-old. So that's me. That's my story. That's why I'm a part of this. And my reason for my contact is just my name. It rolls off the tongue really well. Abbydaw, Abbeydaw. Abby, like spelled like the Beatles album. And it's just abbydaw.com. And I'm on Instagram as Abbydaw, and you can just send me a message, and you can join my community, which is the Magic Community. And it is ultimately a breathwork, manifestation, and meditation portal for embodiment and to help you discover your dreams and to find your purpose for women. It's a women's community.
Beautiful. Abby, thank you so much for your beautiful, powerful share. I so appreciate that. And really that focus and great tips and great insight about making our 8-year-old and our 80-year-old, like those are the people to be worried about. Making happy is so powerful, and shifting our perspective on fear, that maybe it is actually our best friend here to support us on our journey. Thank you so much for sharing. Deeply appreciate it.
Thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
Along with all of you amazing people that are going to talk.
I love it. And for those of you following along in the book, I just got a little reminder that Abby's story is on page 19. You can find her chapter there and learn all about Abby, as well as her contact information will be written up there as well. And we encourage you to connect. There's a reason we're sharing that contact information. So Abby, thank you again. I just want to give everyone a moment to, I've shared some of the things that impacted me, but there might be some additional things that impacted you as you're viewing and watching. So just take a moment to capture some of those thoughts, and then we'll get ready to introduce our next amazing guest. And I was thinking, Abby, with that breath work, that breathing, it's a moment to breathe as we're taking in our insights. Beautiful. Great. Well, I'm excited to introduce our next guest. His chapter starts on page 27. And I know you're going to love this amazing guest, his heart, his spirit, Sam Yao. And I'm excited to share a little bit about him. And then he has a special treat for us. He's going to share one of his beautiful poems. He's a poet with us. So I'm excited to lead into that, have you experience his beautiful poem. So let me share a little bit about Sam so you have some context for him. So Sam is a retired business executive, splitting his time between managing his investments and writing poetry. He's a #1 international best-selling author multiple times over. He holds an MBA in finance, has reinvented his life several times, from starting as a 6-month-old baby on a refugee boat to penniless student from a distant land to CEO of $1 billion organization to chairman of a well-known center for personal growth, and now to a poet who writes about the soul's journey. He is passionate about helping support you in all of your dimensions on your soul's journey. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, soulful Sam Yao to the show. Welcome. Oh,
okay,
there you are.
Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca, for your very generous introduction. When Rebecca approached me about being a co-author of the anthology, I felt that maybe I have something to share about this topic. I have been on a spiritual journey all my life, and this is one of the things I've been, thinking about and living it. So by sharing the insights and experience of my own life, I hope some reader will find them useful in their search for their purpose and find joy in living it. So let me start with, I'm going just to have a few highlights from this chapter. Why do we need to connect to our soul to find our highest purpose? So the way I look at soul, my experience is that it's a divine spark that was planted deep inside us that is already connected to the source. Our soul helps us to remember our divine origin in this human incarnation. So it guides us in our evolution to the highest consciousness and returning to our source. So our soul is our true but veiled identity. We have to find it. When we were born, we are not aware of it. In the early part of our life journey, we find a purpose by absorbing the expectation from our parents, from our church, from our school, and from our friends in society. But the soul's purpose comes from a deeper place. It is why we are here in the first place. Even though we have no memory of it, it is carried in our energy field, and it will call on us from a subjective inner world that only we can know. So a shift is necessary from conformity to outside expectation to our soul's invitation from the inside. So embracing our uniqueness means we are free to create our life. And so that is to answer the call from our soul. So I heard a lot of story about trauma. So why do we have trauma? So our trauma is often a doorway to our awakening, to our soul. Our grief opens our heart to the suffering of the world. Our wounding becomes the catalyst for the emergence of our calling or our purpose. So let me just say a few things about how we find it. So our soul guides our journey by speaking to us as our inner voice. No one else can hear it. There will not be a witness. We must learn to hear it alone and trust it with increasing confidence as part of our spiritual growth. But there will be synchronicity from our outer reality to validate our strengthening conviction from within. So we can ask our soul for synchronicity and signs. Our soul has the superpower of the divine to manifest outer reality to confirm our inner intuition. So our purpose in life evolves over time. So based on the level of consciousness we have attained, each of the stages of evolution is also according to an original blueprint of our soul's journey. An earlier purpose serves as a subsequent purpose until we reach our highest purpose in this lifetime. So often we don't know until we're a certain part of time, but everything that happened in our life leads us, to our highest purpose. And I would say the cosmic design of the soul's journey is to evolve and grow our capacity to expand our heart to be more loving and expand our mind to be more inclusive. And what we do is merely a training vehicle for evolving and becoming who we are. From the perspective of the soul, an accomplishment-oriented purpose is a transitional purpose for us to finally reach a soul-based purpose. So I want to share with you one poem. So that kind of summarizes some of this idea. It's called, do not let anyone else tell you to live someone else's life. Do not let anyone tell you to live someone else's life. You have a gift to co-create your special life with the divine. Let the spark in you shine. Live and dance like a unique spirit. Share your inner world with quality that bring you delight. Live inside out. The outside world will coalesce into your design. Do not let anyone tell you to live someone else's life. Listen to your inner voice from your soul and let it guide you. Trust it. Living the authentic you will bring you freedom and joy. Claim it. Let the spark in you shine. Live and dance like a unique spirit. You are a soul incarnated in the human school to learn to love. You are frozen light. Soon will take the soaring flight. Do not let anyone tell you to live someone else's life. Already connected to the source, turn it on and drink it in. Angels are always there to help if you let your intuition align. Let the spark in you shine. Live and dance like a unique spirit. You have been knocking the door from the inside all your life. Turn around. You are perfect and totally lovable. Live it. Do not let anyone else tell you to live someone else's life. Let the spark in you shine. Live and dance like a unique spirit. Thank you.
Sam, thank you so much for your share and your just beautiful poem. That's one of my favorite poems that you have from your beautiful book. Do you mind sharing the title that holds the current published collection of your work?
Yeah, it's called The Soul's Journey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's available on Amazon. And you can contact me on my website, which is Sam Yao, Y-A-U is my last name. So samyaopoetry.com. Or you can email me, sam@samyaopoetry.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate your share and the reading of that poem. And I just want to give us a moment to check in that message of don't let anyone tell you. Say the title one more time. I'm getting all excited about it. I want to make sure.
Don't let anyone else tell you to live someone else's life.
Exactly. That this is your life that you get to live. And every time I read that poem or I hear it and I let it pour over me, it just encourages me more and more to be who I'm called to be. And I hope today it's encouraging you to claim your spark and to share it and bring it forward the way you're made. And I love already we've had so many different voices and perspectives share. And I want you to notice everyone's shining a little bit differently. We're all sharing a little bit differently. And I love that experience and the diversity of energy and perspective and the pieces of the journey that have been shared. It creates a rich tapestry that we're getting to experience today. And there's more to come. So I'm very excited about that. Sam, thank you again for sharing. I deeply appreciate that. And we are going to take just a couple moments to move around a little bit. I think it's important that there's some movement too. You guys have been taking in information so you can move around in your chair, whatever is comfortable for you. Breathe. You can move around the room, but don't leave the room because we want to keep everybody. connected, but sometimes it's helpful. And I can't quite show you this, but an exercise that can be helpful is if you massage your ear, like around the edge of your ear, it actually can kind of activate. Only I call my earmuffs on, so I can't access my ears right now, but you can do that. It's like massaging and bringing energy to every part of your body. So you kind of move down, like moving down the spine as you massage, kind of stretch and pull. The ears won't come off, I promise, as you kind of stretch them a little bit. And it brings that oxygen and air and blood circulation and everything through. So just something, if you're wanting to stay sitting down and move a little bit, that's a way to kind of activate and get everything flowing again, which is great to do, because sometimes when we're taking in information, we can start to get more and more comfortable. We want to stay connected and receiving. So just to give you a moment or so to move around a little bit, massage your ears, whatever it may be that helps you kind of bring that energy flowing throughout you. And then we will continue on to our next amazing guest. We'll just give you 2 minutes and we'll be right back to continue. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, great. We're going to all come back here. And just had a comment, Abby, we had a comment that you're so powerful, made me cry. So you're definitely touching people's hearts and lives. I wanted to share as I was checking in to see if there are questions or comments. So wanted to pass that along to you, that you're connecting with people in that way. So very, very powerful. Great. Well, then, Janet, I'm excited to be introducing you and having you join our conversation here. So let me take a moment to introduce Janet. Her chapter starts on page 35. Oh, and I need to put my camera on. See? That's why we need a team, right? All these reminders keep everything flowing. So I am here for real, not just a voice. So I'm excited to introduce Janet to all of you. Her chapter starts on page 35. She is a #1 international bestselling author, freelance writer for a women's magazine featuring businesses in her community. She has always had a passion for writing that started as a child. So I'm thinking about that 8-year-old Abby. So it started as a child, where she would spend hours outside writing stories and poems. She's been married over 32 years to her husband, Lyle, and is working on her first full book that she's hoping and planning to release later this year. So we're excited and watching for that and celebrating it. And she's absolutely passionate about you having positive changes in your life. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Janet L Schmidt to the show. Welcome.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
everyone today.
Excited to have you joining us. And I'd love to have you start with why this project called to you and give us a little bit of a flavor of your chapter.
Okay. It has been a tough couple of years. I know that a lot of people have lost their loved ones in their life. And I lost my father, my mother, and my mother-in-law in a 2-year period. And it really shook me to the core and made me think about what I was doing in my life or what I wasn't doing in my life, either way. And I took time to reflect and think about that. And I really didn't like the person I was seeing. I really didn't think I had, I know the last 5 years I've kind of shut down. I didn't want to be around people much. And then I decided probably about a year ago that I needed to change things because my health wasn't going well. My life really wasn't going well. And I wanted to figure out what it is I really wanted to do because I'm 63 and I'm on the other side of the hill. And so I figured, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And it needed to be something I was happy with because I did government work for about 25 years. And after 25 years of government work, unless it's really your cup of tea, that isn't very fulfilling. So I decided that I needed to take time and align myself with what I'm supposed to be called to do, what I'm supposed to be doing. I've always had a passion to help other people. I've done a lot of volunteering in the community and stuff in the past, and I get a lot of fulfillment out of that. But I wanted to do more. I wanted to encourage people. I wanted to, especially now, the way things are, there's not enough positivity in the world. And I think the more people out there putting that message out, the better it'll be. And the world will improve eventually. So I really see a movement out there for that. And I have decided that I'm going to get a certificate in art therapy. And there's also a healing modality that I'm interested in. And then I would like to start an online business to help people through the use of art. And I also want to get the other book written. It's called As You Love Yourself, A Journey to Self-Awareness. And that book is basically talking about certain things that you have to go through and develop as you grow as a person in order to reach kind of like self-actualization, where you love yourself, and then that helps you be able to more fully love someone else or more people. Sometimes that self-actualization is also opening your heart to others, period. So that's kind of what I'm involved in. It's a far cry from where I started a long time ago. All I wanted to do is go through business education and get a good job and have a family and that white picket fence too. But as I get older, I feel that there's more out there that I've missed, that I didn't know about. And I'm a lifelong learner too. And so I figure the more I learn, the more I can give to others. That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that and the journey. And I'm excited that you're bringing your book forward and sharing some of that journey with us too. So I love that. And the embracing that lifelong learning. I think sometimes we stop learning. So I love that you're embracing that. and continuing to explore and really claiming this place that you're going to stand for others and help. So I celebrate that. Very excited for that. And as you're reflecting back on the journey and where you are now, and even what your experience has been in the book and the project and launching it and having it received, is there anything that's kind of touching your heart and spirit around how you've discovered to step more and more into your brilliant purpose, and maybe a way our viewers could too?
Well, I think one thing is to be sure to take time to smell the roses. And that's an old cliche. But the fact of the matter is, you need to bring some joy and love into your life. That helps you see more things, I think, see more of what's out there. But there was a time when, a couple of years there, I didn't feel much joy. And even I noticed it, like, wow, what's wrong with me? I can't seem to feel this anymore. And I think it's really important that a person do. And the other thing is that also helps you build resilience for those times that are not good. So you have things that you enjoy doing, or people that you enjoy being with, or whatever it is that brings you joy in your life. You have that to lean back on too, which helps build your resilience. So that when things kind of give you a double whammy or a triple like I had, you can come back stronger. And I do believe that adversity is put here, whether by a higher power or whatever you believe. It's put here to force you to grow stronger and also keep a positive outlook. I mean, there is a difference truly in your vibration between being a positive outlook and not being positive. You can feel it. And it's really important in your life that you take the bull by the horns and say, okay, what brings me joy in this life? Who do I love talking to and being with? Do I like to take a walk once a week in nature, go to the park or something? Or do I like to curl up on my couch and read a good book and have a good hot cup of tea there? Whatever it is, just do it.
Thank you so much for sharing. And what is the best way for someone to connect in with you and go deeper and continue the conversation?
Well, I have an email that you can connect with me. It's JASCHMIDT1258@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. And I'm noticing it's an email day. So I love that you guys are so generous in sharing your emails and making that connection available too. So thank you, Janet, again for sharing. And I love that perspective on adversity and how maybe, we're not looking at it that way. And I think you're absolutely right. We sometimes don't know how strong we can be and truly are until we face things that kind of bring us to the end of ourselves and discover there's a little bit more. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Let everyone viewing and listening and watching, just take a moment and breathe in those beautiful insights that are touching your heart, touching your spirit. And remember that you are braver than you know, stronger than you know, that it is there, that you can lean in and that can serve and support you. And in fact, I have another quote I wanted to share as well. I have so many. I'm trying to choose the one that I thought I was going to share next. Here it is. And this is by Oscar Wilde. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. So let's lean in to be more of who we are, who we're created to be, embracing our journey, even when it has a fear and it has adversity. That's part of what is helping us step forward. And then if we take that a little bit further, I've got one by Walt Disney. all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So I hope you're gaining courage and perspective as we continue our conversation and our journey today, and from the heart level that people are sharing some of the challenges they have faced and the triple whammy, as you shared, Janet, that you faced, and here you are shining beautifully and powerfully and sharing insights and perspectives with us. And so I celebrate that, and I look forward to all that you're bringing forward and will be bringing forward. So I know there's more to come that we're excited about and leaning into. And with that, I'm excited to introduce our next amazing expert. And her chapter starts on page 43, and this is our beautiful Dawn. So I'm excited to introduce her to you. So Dawn Bradford, who goes by S. Dawn Bradford, is a #1 international best-selling author, life coach, international public speaker and presenter, sharing a message of hope and healing no matter what you have experienced in life. She is an empowered abuse survivor and serves and supports those who are coming back from abuse through coaching and workshops and writing. She's a writing coach and event production supervisor at Calliope Writing Coach. She successfully manages her dissociative identity disorder and works to help remove the stigma that can be associated with it. And she's passionate about helping you heal and shine. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and I would say warrior standing with us, S. Dawn Bradford. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I am very excited to be here. In looking at this project, I realized that it was time for me to make a change in my life. I had spent years talking about my journey and my story. And while my story is interesting and impactful, what I realized is that people were being inspired and going, that's great that you healed, and not realizing that they could heal as well. So a little bit about my background is, at the age of 10, I was abused. There were 2 different cults that intersected in the area that I was at, and they pulled me into their circle. And the plan was for me to eventually join their cult, and for my parents to think that I had died up in the mountains, and for me to join this cult. So there was a lot of torture, sex trafficking, mind control stuff. I mean, it was pretty bad. And the stuff that happened was so severe that it fractured my brain. That's where the dissociative identity disorder comes from, is the trauma is so severe, your brain can't cope with it. And so it fractures and holds little bits of those memories in different places in your brain and creates other personalities. So dissociative identity disorder used to be called multiple personality disorder. And the people I talk to that have this disorder do not talk about it. They do not share it because there's such a stigma. There's so much shame that we're crazy, that we can't function, and things like that. And as I talked about overcoming and dealing with the pain and moving through this healing journey, the people who I was interacting with got really inspired, but that didn't help them move forward in their own lives. And when this book came forward, I knew that that's what I needed to change. I needed to help others be able to step in to the life that they want. The earth and everyone around us, the earth itself is full of abundance. Everything we need is out there. I had lived decades pushing that down, feeling small, feeling everything is scarce, that I just need to try to be really small to stay safe. And that there was this scarcity, that there really wasn't enough out there for me, that I couldn't move forward in my life, and that there weren't other people there. And what I have realized, just like Sam had talked about, I wrote this down because I love it so much. Trauma is the doorway to awakening. And that as I broke through the amnesia that was hiding all of this history, I had all these symptoms, did not understand where the PTSD was from, where the chronic health problems, where the anxiety was coming from. And I opened that up and was finally willing to open that door to my past. And that's what allowed me to move through that pain and discover who I was and who I could be. And as that awakening happened, I discovered that the world is a very abundant place. Everything I need, everything that I'm drawn to and want in my life is now flowing through due to this process of awakening, of really understanding who I am, where I'm coming from, accepting that, and moving through the pain. So the one thing I really wanted to help people understand and to share is that the pain is not your enemy, just as Abby was saying. The fear is not your enemy. The anxiety I felt was helping me to notice that I had fear, and the fear was fear of pain. And when I got all the way down, I realized there's all this pain, and that if I'm willing to allow that pain to come up and move through it, those things can leave my space and allow new, beautiful things to come in. And that it doesn't matter what's happened. It doesn't matter what disabilities you have. It doesn't matter what trauma you've experienced. That healing is possible. The first thing that we have to start with is that healing is possible no matter what. And with that possibility, and even just a glimmer of what you want in your life, you can move forward and find a way. People will come into your path. If you really believe in whatever you want, whatever that purpose is, whatever that life you want, and that can morph. For me, it started first as I just want to be healed. I don't want to be in pain anymore. And then it became, I want to help other people. And I began mentoring other survivors. And then it became, I need to spread this message that you really can heal, that the world is an abundant place that can provide for you if you're open to that. And so the tip that I really have on this is to take that quiet time, just like we've been doing throughout this summit. You kind of take those moments to pause, to sit with yourself, because you know everything that you need. It's all inside of you. Your body and your mind, they're connected, they work together, they will bring up those things that you need to deal with in order to move forward in your life. And it's vulnerable and it's scary and it can be hard, but the message is that it is completely worth it. The life I live now is astonishing. To have lived decades just keeping myself small and afraid and holding everything that I was close to me and inside and just afraid of everyone. I look back, and while I understand the amount of time that I needed, it feels like such a waste, because now every day I'm present, I'm aware of what's going on, I'm seeing the joy and the beauty all around me. Because as I tried so hard to hold that pain down and numb that pain, I was also limiting the joy. I was numbing the joy. I couldn't feel anything. And as I learned to feel the pain, came and the world opened up. And just like that door on the book, I went from this really flat, black and white kind of life to seeing this brilliant beauty all around me, even in just everyday moments, and being present to everything that was around me. And that journey is it is so worth the benefits that you get. And so that's my message, is healing is possible. You can do it. And if you are in the middle of it and you're wondering if it's really worth it, it is. If you want to connect with me, or you want more empowerment, I love to be on Facebook and sharing messages of empowerment and hope and healing. You can find me. I'm under S. Dawn Bradford is what I use, or you can go to my website, which is Dawn Bradford, and find more information.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dawn. And I just hear that so from your core. It's so worth the journey. Being able to step into that, and the reminder that we can heal, that we can step forward. Thank you for taking that stand for us, for sharing that truth, and for giving us that encouragement on the journey. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here. This is amazing. I love sharing and being a part of such powerful messages and such powerful people that are here. So thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm getting comments of people responding and thanking you as well for the power of your message and inspiring. So thank you again. And everybody, I just want to give you a moment to soak in what her words meant to you, what came bubbling up as you were exploring even that trauma leads to transformation that was re-echoed, and that abundance that is around us that you discovered as you came through. So what moments really touched you? So just take a moment and breathe and be, and really see. And if we're live, I would tell you, and I can see if you're not. Just giving yourself time to breathe and digest and take it in and see what serves. Wonderful. So are you ready for our next amazing guest? I'm seeing hearts. Okay, so I'm taking that as a yes, and smiles and nods. Okay, good. Well, I'm excited to introduce our next amazing guest, Hillary, and her beautiful chapter starts on page 63. And let's see, what can I tell you? There's so much I love about you, Hillary. So I'm gonna stick to my notes so I make sure I cover the key pieces. So Hillary DeCesar is a #1 international bestselling author, award-winning expert, and host of the Relaunch Podcast. She, let me say that again, the Relaunch, I get to re-say it. So the Relaunch Podcast. She is a sought-after speaker and founder of the Relaunch Company and creator of the Fired Up Entrepreneur Signature Course. She serves on the board of Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo and is she's a frequent guest expert, and she's recognized for her expertise in neuropsychology. She holds several degrees and certifications in that space from the top practitioners in that field. So she frequently taps into that amazing expertise to support and serve in all the work that she does. She's a loyal philanthropist and has been featured on ABC's hit TV series, Secret Millionaire. Many of you may have heard of that. And I know that in of itself was a transformational experience. If you ever get a chance to talk with her about that, I know she shared on previous interviews about that as well. And she's been quoted on ABC, CBS, Fox, the Huffington Post, and MarketWatch, just to name a few of the places she's been quoted. And she's passionate about you experiencing joy. I'm hearing that consistently today. So she's passionate about you experiencing joy and reimagining what is truly possible in your life. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and joyful Hillary DeCesar to the show. Welcome.
How much do we love Rebecca? I mean, it's so good. Well, thank you. And again, I to everybody who has gone before me and those that are going to be following, what incredible stories, and most significantly, what incredible relaunches. And I'm hearing it over and over that people you go through a relaunch, you go through something pretty significant, and sometimes you have a mini relaunch, sometimes you have a mega relaunch. It can be a really positive thing, or most of the time these relaunches are getting us to have some type of transition that will turn into an either positive transformation, or you're missing it and you're going to end up having something else hit you within a day, a year, whatever it's going to be. So I was very fortunate that I ended up meeting Rebecca, and she, of course, said, have you ever thought about writing a book? And I said, actually, I have. And I remember sharing the topic, and I really wanted to write about Silicon Valley and being a woman during the time of the boys clubs and many, 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 I mean, it could be a sitcom in itself, literally. And she said, well, I have this book that's coming out and we're doing chapters, and it's called Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose. And I'm like, okay, then clearly the topic that I was going to talk about would not be a good fit. So I started to think about this, like if I were going to be a part of such a significant, impactful book, what would I really want to share? And it just sent something off in me that I'm like, oh my gosh, I was going down the wrong path. The reason that I never wrote that other book was because it wasn't what was meant to be. It wasn't part of my journey. It wasn't describing, and you heard that I have a podcast, and it's called the Relaunch Podcast, but it's really about sharing individual relaunches and the silver linings that come from those. And every single one of those interviews, and I think I've done now about 150 of them, every single person I talk to, I ask at the end, whether it's on air or not, I say, was this a situation that you would go back if you could and not have it happen? And every single person, whether it was, they were literally almost zipped up in a body bag, they'd lost amazing members in their families, they had lost their own limbs, they had had major trauma, just the most horrific incidences. Every single one of them said, I wouldn't change a thing. And so when I started to lean into this, I thought, oh my gosh, the reason I started this company was because there were I've been coaching executives and CEOs for over 20 years, founding my own businesses. I had the stories, and I knew how people could actually go from that position of, my company is failing. I can't grow my company. My marriage is failing. I don't know what to do. I've been so focused on my career. I don't have a relationship with myself. I don't have a relationship with others, my business. And I thought, that's what I need to write about. I need to write about, let's just talk about the significant relaunch. And then what do you do with that? Where do you go? And so everyone is always asked, where do you, what's that happy place that you have, that you can go to in your mind that can just put you at ease? And my happy place was a place called Silver Lake. And you can just think about it in your mind. The lake literally glistened like silver. And it was a summer cabin. We always went up there and opened the cabin as a family. We, got it ready for the summer months. And about 3 years ago, we were going to go up there, and my dad, my stepmom, my brother, my son, they were the only ones who could really go. I was sick. My other kids weren't available. So they went in, and it was a rainy day, and there was a scent of gas when they first opened the door. And it wasn't too uncommon because this house was 85 years old, built by my grandparents. But things were just not right. And my dad went to turn on the propane gas stove, and there was a huge rumble underneath the entire frame of the cabin. He kind of was like, this isn't good. Like, let's put this off for right now. And let's get somebody, an expert, to come in and let's get this checked out. And my brother was just like, you know what? Let's leave right now. Let's just go. So they ended up, which we never do, packing up. They got in the car. They drove about 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes actually. And when they were going down, there was a fire truck that was zipping by them. And my dad said, I have this really uncomfortable, awful feeling. So we followed the fire truck, and he was probably it was driving so fast that he got there, got back to the cabin, and caught the last minute of the cabin burning down. It literally went up and lasted less than 15 minutes. So why is this so impactful? Because it was a sliding door moment. It was a moment that it took out all of the memories that were visible were gone. The house, the structure, the table that we all sat at and, had our s'mores and licked our fingers as the marshmallow got on the table and we wanted every little bite. But what it really allowed me to figure out is that, yes, the visible was gone, but the invisible was so meaningful. And what came right after was a series of about 2 years of trying to get this cabin rebuilt. And it finally was done 2 days before a milestone birthday for me. And I brought up 30 of my family members, friends, and we sat at this long table and we had the greatest weekend of our life. But 4 days later, I'm back in the Bay Area and I get a call from my mom. And like Maureen, she had colon cancer, but it was stage 4. So we're talking about relaunch and how roller coasters come up in our life, the highs, the lows, the highs, the lows. But how do you take those where the media, social media tells you, be visible, get out there, put your name out there, put your face out there. But in reality, in order to get through significant relaunches, as you've heard with trauma that happens to us all, you got to go inside. You got to get internal. You got to get invisible before you can be visible. Because for so many of us, we all are the best kept secret, right? We want this. Why can't it happen? And so during this process of writing this chapter, it uncovered a bigger book. A book that I am so excited to share is actually going to be coming out in May. And thanks to Rebecca, thanks to conversations I had with Maureen, it came to life. And that I realized that there is so much more to share. And there's a framework that I have been coaching for years and years on, and it's called 3HQ. And that is the heart, your why, getting out of your head to get to your higher self. And we've heard through so many of the conversations today about, intuition, about tapping into it. And I just want to give you a tip to starting your relaunch into the 3HQ lifestyle, which is when you get it all working together, that's when you can reach that highest level. That's when you can have your best life. That's when you can really feel like, oh my gosh, I have a purpose driven. I have the doors in front of me. And which door are you going to open? It's when manifestation works and you become a magnet for it. So we've heard in this next book, I'm actually, I talk about the pause like we've discussed today. So step 1 is that pause, like taking a second. Step 2 is having those deep breaths. There's so much benefit to it. Step 3 is when you want to make sure that you're increasing your intuition, ask yourself that one question that you want answered. And it could be, what is the purpose here? Why is this happening to me? What is the message I'm supposed to hear? But here's the next part of it. Don't be impatient. Step 4 is don't just hear, listen to what you're being guided. And then once you have that, number 5 is take action, right? How many of us hear things and we're like, oh, what was that? Just, coincidence, and you don't do anything. That's when you can truly step in. You can increase your intuition, and it takes off. Once you start to exercise the muscles around it, you start to notice that you're getting better and better and better at it. So that's, really where I'm going at this point. I want to impact, I want to help, especially the middle life, mid-zone woman, take herself to that lifestyle of success that she is defining for herself in business, professionally, and personally. So you can get in touch with me, and it would be truly my honor to be able to talk about your journey, about your relaunches. And I'm not going to give you my email yet. I'm actually going to say, grab your phone and text 55444. Text relaunch, the word relaunch. That's it, to 55444, and get into the relaunch world, where every relaunch is bringing you closer to your brilliant purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Hillary, for your beautiful share, the journey we celebrate, your book coming out in May. Do you have an official date? Has it been set?
It's early May.
Okay.
And the name is Relaunch with a big exclamation point, and it's Spark Your Heart to Ignite Your Life.
Beautiful. Oh, so
and
excited.
Thank you. I had to make sure I say that again. I'm over the moon about this, and I really, I credit it all to you. So thank you.
Well, I'm deeply honored. I'm so excited more is coming forward, and that you listened and you said yes and stepped forward and brought that forward. So very excited. I celebrate that. We'll be watching for you. And I love that you've given another way that we can connect in so people can choose their favorite way, which is fabulous. Thank you very, very much for your sharing. I deeply appreciate it. And I want to give all of us a moment to think about what are some of the resources that we are starting to add to our list of things. So I was just thinking, we've learned about some books that are going to be coming out. Are those resources that could be supportive? So are those things to kind of write on our list to watch for? Is the book we've been speaking from and about a little bit, is that a resource that can be supportive for you? We've talked about capturing some of your thoughts and writing those down. We've actually created a companion journal. See if I can hold it up for the right camera angle while blocking my voice, but here you go. And it's called Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose Journal. And it's designed to help take some of these things to a deeper level. So if a journal is supportive of you, I wanted you to know that that is available, and it's designed to go with the book to support you. So they work really well together. It's available on Amazon. We've mentioned Sam's beautiful collection, The Soul's Journey, that also is available. So think about those things as we've been sharing. What are resources? What are things that you can connect into that are going to support you on your journey? And taking that stretch, because it's not a solo journey. Is it joining a community and a network? We've talked about that with Maureen and the Relaunch group. So what are some places that you can tap into to get support? Because we opened up talking about how life is not a solo journey. We've also talked about taking the stretch, saying yes, going through those doors. I know a lot of times when I've had those opportunities presented to me, when I was presented with, Rebecca, I think you should start speaking or sharing your story. I was resistant. I to me, it was God, and I argued about that. And I shared back that, here's a list of people who are way more qualified than me. And here's an alternate list in case you need it. Like, I was very resistant, and I had all kinds of reasons why. And yet there was a spark in me that kept thinking, what if I could share something, my journey could actually make a difference for good? What if those hard things I'd faced, those really difficult traumas, those things could actually be used for good? What if it could make someone else's path a little bit easier? Then I was willing to stand where it felt uncomfortable, where it stretched me. If I knew taking that moment, taking that stage, being scared could lead to making a path easier for another, I was willing to do it because I could find the courage to stand for others before I could find it for myself. And then eventually found it for myself too. And I don't know where everyone is in their journey, but I wanted to take a moment where we're thinking about some of what has been shared, and there's more to come. So there's more to come, but thinking about what has been shared and how can you start to build these resources into your life. And I have a few resources I wanted to add to the mix. I mentioned the journal. We've talked about some groups. We've talked about some forthcoming books. We also, for those of you who are thinking, this book thing seems to be a theme. I've been thinking about writing more. I just don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start. We've started a series called the Emerging Author Series. Well, we started and finished and created it, so it's complete. The Emerging Author Series. And it's a set of free ebooks. It's resources for you to answer questions, things that I'm asked every day about publishing, giving you myths and truths to really help you navigate those waters, looking at what is anthology and how does it work when I bring a book forward? How do I market? Do I need to market? How do I monetize? Like all of those types of things are addressed in this series. And so if you go to Emerging Authors Series, plural.com, you can select all of the different subjects. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Ta-da. If you look at the slide, you see the link right there that you can go to emergingauthorseries.com. And it's our gift to you to help serve and support you and really bringing your message forward, because sharing your story does matter and it makes a difference. We've been talking about that today. Also, maybe you're drawn more to speaking your story. Maybe the writing isn't quite pulling you as much. Guess what? We have support for that too. It's called the Speaker Talent Search. So you can go to, I don't think we have a slide for that one, but it's speakertalentsearch.com. And again, this is our gift to you. Many of us actually met on this panel through the Speaker Talent Search, which I think is so cool. And it's really neat to see where those relationships go and what is being birthed and brought forward. So if you are feeling that pull and that call to share your story, to get on more stages, to be interviewed on more platforms, I encourage you to check out the Speaker Talent Search.com. And that's part of our give back that we bring to the world to really help people that are saying yes to bringing their messages forward, connecting with opportunities to help them do that. So we are getting ready to take another stretch break, or you can do ear massage break, whatever it may be. And I wanted you during that time, take a couple moments and think about what are some resources that you can lean into or connections you can lean into that will serve and support you. And we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 3 minutes. Enjoy. One more minute. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm moving around too. I saw you clapping, Maureen, bringing the energy. So very, very excited. We have another group of speakers who I know you're going to love and are going to help you continue on that journey and really help you continue to step into your brilliant purpose and shine. Share that out. We just want to make sure that we're continuing to support you on your journey, as we talked about in the beginning. So discovering your purpose, some of your brilliance, claiming it, and then stepping into it. And then that final piece of sharing it out on that journey together. And I'm just thrilled and honored to introduce our next amazing guest. I know you're going to love her. I adore her, Charlotte Allen, and her chapter starts on page 71 for any of you following along in the book. Page 71. She holds a PhD, is a #1 international best-selling author. She's a nationally renowned keynote speaker and in-demand leadership expert, founder of Rebel Success for Leaders. She helps teams work directly and with, let me say that again, I'm relaunching that, Hillary, relaunching that sentence. She helps teams work the diversity that makes them stronger. She helps them leverage that and really harness the benefits of the people versus the process. She specializes in that. She knows that there's this paradigm that she sees in all the work she does, specializing in STEM organizations. There's this paradigm that 70% of the organizational change that people are trying to make fails. She comes in and helps shift that. So the organizational goals and change move in the right direction. They don't become part of that 70%. They become part of that 30%. And hopefully we're starting to grow that number and bring in those changes that are needed in the world and with those organizations. So she helps bringing her over 20 years of experience in leadership, helping iconic brands like Kraft Foods, for example, to bring these changes powerfully and positively forward. She's passionate about helping you step into your rebel success. Please lean in and warmly welcome the dynamic, powerful, and rebel Charlotte Allen to the show. Welcome.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much. This has been a great event so far today, and I'm looking forward to talking with everyone.
Excited to have you here with us, and I look forward to all that you've prepared. So we're leaning in with anticipation. The
Wonderful.
Floor is yours.
Wonderful. So I wanted to start with this concept that not everyone truly knows in a concrete way what their purpose is. Okay. So, and quite honestly, for me growing up, I didn't really have that language. It wasn't something we talked about. We didn't talk about our purpose. We didn't talk about, we talked about what are we going to do with our life, our job, as most do, especially for those in the college selection realm. But I didn't really have a purpose language. So, but what I will say is that I had a really strong intuition. I had a really strong intuition that was guiding me throughout my career. And I made 2 shifts, or to use the language we're using today, I made 2 relaunches throughout my years so far. And I just wanted to make sure folks understood that you don't have to know enough to put it on a billboard, right? You don't have to be able to describe it, but you will likely, maybe going back to some of what Sam talked about, you will have some sort of inkling, a nudge, a sense of where you ought to go, or a very strong sense where you should not go. Okay, those are kind of two boundaries. So when this book came forward and Rebecca said, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" I said, "Yeah," because I think there are a lot of people who are concerned or frustrated or disturbed because they don't think they know what that is. And I want to let you sort of hear that can shift, that you don't have to have one purpose for your entire life. I moved in kind of where I thought my purpose was leading me, based on my intuition and my guidance. And I have become more engaged with that language, of late. So this language of what is my purpose, this language of what my life has sort of sent me on this journey to find, and who am I helping along the way. So that's kind of what I wanted to sort of start with about why I decided to join the book team here, and how these wonderful folks are just doing an amazing job of launching this out into the world. And from my chapter, I wanted to share that I switched, relaunched twice. So my career moves were, probably looking at it from the outside, very big and not very connected. For me, they made a lot of sense. For me and who I was, they made a lot of sense. So I felt, again, my intuition, I felt my first path was not really where I wanted to be. And I don't regret the choice of marching that path for a period of time, but I decided to change. And that kind of sent me back to the beginning, right? That sent me back to that process of being uncomfortable, of being not new, of being, unsure of where I was going. And that segment of my process lasted for a very long time. And I do not regret, and I learned a ton about that portion of my path. And then I did it again, right? And then it was, ooh, okay, I'm a little older. These things about doing new stuff is not so exciting maybe as it once was. But I shifted again, and I went back to that beginning, that learning. And what I discovered the second time was, I really miss this part of learning. I really miss this part of discovery. I really miss this part of personal growth in myself. And that is what I wanted to experience more of going forward. So the second time around, I had a different perspective. I had okay, I've done this before. I've got a little bit of muscle memory. I have a little bit of a sense for how to do this the second time. And I have a little bit more of a deliberate and intentional approach to how to move forward in kind of what my purpose and what my direction of where I'm going is right now. So I just want to make sure that I say to you guys that don't feel bad if it changes. Don't feel bad if you don't know. Don't feel bad if you can't put it on a billboard, right? I think all of these things are really, really important as we have these conversations. So I hope you're able to gain that from my chapter. And I will say the one thing, there's a few suggestions in my chapter that I make, but the one thing that has been speaking to me a lot lately is something that I'm going to call head talk. It's that voice that is not you, but it's that voice that's in your head saying stuff to you that directs your actions. Okay. There are lots of other words that are used in popular culture these days, but I want to use the words head talk, right? Because that is not you. Okay. You need to be sure that you're the one advocating for that conversation in your head, and you're leading that conversation in your head. Okay. So if it's not sounding like you, just delete it and move on. Tell it to be quiet. Don't listen. Start talking what you want to hear. Okay, so that's the thing I want to leave you with as a suggestion from my chapter. And as far as the one way that you can connect with me, I am primarily on LinkedIn. So I'm going to probably give you two, because perhaps many of you are not. So if you are on LinkedIn, you can look me up, Charlotte Allen, Food Innovator. That's how you're going to find me if you type that in. If you are not a LinkedIn person, then you can probably best find me on my website, which is rebelsuccessforleaders.com. And there you can check out a whole bunch of stuff. You can join the newsletter. You can connect with me there. So there's a lot of opportunities to plug into sort of the work and the messaging and the community. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon. And thank you again, Rebecca, and thank you, Maureen, for the opportunity to share today.
Thank you, Charlotte. I so appreciate it. And you're right, that head talk, we have to take charge of that. So I appreciate that tip and reminder. And thank you for your shares and just illustrating some of those relaunches with us too, because I don't know that we always share that. So I'm glad that you did. And I think that's really great and you had some of that muscle memory that we can tap into each time. So that's transferable. That's great news. Thank you again. I appreciate that. Great sharing. Wonderful. So everyone take a moment, capture your thoughts. And then we are getting ready to introduce our next amazing guest. One of the things I love about our next guest is I feel like she's so good at being present, really tapping in, really holding that space for herself and others. So I know you're going to enjoy Kara. Her chapter starts on page 79, just so I'm being consistent and sharing what all the chapters are. And let me share just a little bit about her. She's a #1 international bestselling author, spiritual mentor, offering teachings to humanity based on the following principles of unity, compassion, love, and the power of presence, being. She experienced a radical overnight shift in her consciousness that she later came to discover and understand was the spiritual awakening. That has led to the work she's doing today. She's on a mission to help empower, support, and hold space for you to deeply connect to your inner truth, inner peace, and live a deeply empowered life. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and connected Kara Goss to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. And my goodness, thank you everyone here for sharing your powerful stories and everyone watching. I'm so great and honored to be here. So the part of the reason why I chose to be with this book, I know that for me, I think what really wants to come through is really being able to make the choice and have the courage to make the change. So what I don't share a lot in the world is my own personal story, but since we're doing so much of that, I'll share how the beginning of my journey, of course, trauma, abuse, and things like that growing up. But when I had my overnight shift and awakening and had worked on, healing and resolving and very connected to the energy, the universal energies and higher multidimensional awarenesses, I had then gotten the call that it was time to go out into this community and to bring it forward to this community. And I have to be very honest that in that particular moment when that call started coming forward, I was like, yes, whatever this is, I don't know how, and I don't know the way, and I don't even know what that might look like, but I was so inspired by how I was healing my physical body and my mental body and my emotional body. And I was healing birth defects, and I was really becoming very strong and healthy, that I just needed to share this energy. I needed to share that if we just stay present with this spirit, with this energy, that it's a healer. It knows exactly what we need. And so I said yes. And before I knew it, the opportunities, you can go here, you can go here, you can go here. But the thing about it was then I had to make a choice, because when I had said to my fiance at that time that I was going to go out and I was going to bring this forward, and I have no idea what it looks like, but I just got this opportunity that I can come to this office space and I can work with this lady, and she's really excited, and she just showed up out of nowhere. And it was, no, that's evil. And when I said I'm going to do it anyway, I knew that I would leave that relationship would crumble. And that was scary to me, because I had 2 children I had given up my corporate career as a very successful insurance agent to become a stay-at-home mom for my children. So I had no vehicle at the time now. I had absolutely no income. I was incredibly sick. Like I was healing from severe blood disorders and severe pain. And so I would have had no physical support being a single mother of these children. And I said, I'm doing it. I said, leave. The family told me I was evil. And let me tell you what, I had no idea what was going to happen. Everything, the best tower moment of my life. I call them tower moments, where your whole world literally falls apart. Everything falls apart, and it has to. And you will go through many of them, but you've got to be willing to be pushed beyond your limit, because our consciousness is here to evolve. It's here to expand. It's here to grow and to grow and to grow. And, you know, as Bob Proctor says, if you don't expand, you disintegrate. You're either going to move forward or you're going to move backwards. There will be a period of stagnation in between, and that's emotional, deep, dark despair. But you're either going to evolve or you're going to disintegrate. And so whenever I came up across this book, I was in that period, and I had heard for years, after building this community, I was the only one here. So in a deeply religious town, everybody thought I was like really evil. And I just had this dream, this vision, like it was so powerful, this connection, this love, the physical healing I was receiving. I had to share it with the world. And then I thought, I'm going to bring more centers here. I'm going to create more teachers here. And, you know, I didn't even realize I was doing it because I was so in the present moment that it hit me on the morning that we became #1 international bestselling author, that Holy Mother, I have teachers and students and new healers, and they stepped in and they leaned in because of the inspiration, because I supported them. And they went on to create other teachers. And we have holistic centers everywhere. And I ran into my old physical medical doctor who left her practice, and she created a center for healing. And it's just like, it hits you sometimes that you're not even really focused on the trying. You don't need to know the how. That's where everybody gets caught up. I had no idea. I was just willing to risk it all. And I risked it all. And I looked back and I got to see the absolute beauty that got to be generated and created because I put it into the field, right? I put it out into the field. And those people did their work. And it's a ripple effect of love that we're creating. There's greatness in the world. So I was in that place when this opportunity came along, and I knew that immediate yes. I had already paid attention, and everybody kept springboarding back to me. When are you going to write your book? When are you going to write your book? When are you going to write your book? And I was like, I used to joke all the time, not just being facetious, not egotistical. I used to say, Jesus didn't write his book, his disciples did. So y'all can go take and write my book for me. How about that? Like, if you love what I'm saying, you can just go spread the word. I was like, but there was a fear there. And what I began to recognize was I was supposed to be writing, but there was a fear that was something that was going to stretch me beyond the mark. And I avoided it. I made jokes about it, and I convinced myself that that's not for me. That's not for me. But it kept coming back, and so I did it, and I put it out to the universe. And my lovely friend Sam, he was my first indicator because he was the springboard right back between him and I. And I was like, oh, I am supposed to be writing right now. Okay. And then when I saw Step Into Your Brilliant Purpose, that was it. It was an automatic yes. My body was responding before my brain could even think. And that's when I know that it's spirit driven, that's where I'm about to grow more. That's where I'm going to pursue more. And you know, with the type of work I do, multidimensional healing and connection and awakening, it's going to be very mainstream. And we need empowered energetics to lead people through these dimensional states of awareness, to stay in this middle path and to really connect, you know, and assist and support. And it's just been a beautiful experience. So I guess my thing is, the advice that I have is just listen and do. And when it gets hard, it's going to get hard. Accept that as opportunity, because as crazy as my reality sounded to just about everybody, I also found my place as this crazy seer that deals with, other types of weird energies that is funny that nobody wants to publicly talk about on a big scale. But yet all the doctors that I know and all the actors that I work with and all these famous people and all the normal people that have these bigger titles, they're my clients. And so we do know about them and we do work with them and we do overcome them. And it's a beautiful thing to clear out some of these quantum energies that we're connected to and get more connected to our soul and more connected to the source that we are, and learning how to be present with all that is as it arises and be love. So that's why, so just listen, do, and don't worry if it's too crazy. You can't get much crazier than what I do, and I found my place. So I'm going to say, and it's a beautiful place to be, and I've got lots of loving people around me that support me with it now. So it's better than dying. It's better than dying, not doing it.
Thank you so much for sharing. So powerful. What is the best way for people to connect in with you?
You can actually reach me at Kara, Kara, Goss, GOSS.com, or you can also find me on Instagram or Facebook, but for email, it'd be Kara@karagoss.com is the best way to probably get in contact with me. Otherwise, you're probably going to get my team. So
perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. I'm going to give everyone a quick moment because I want to keep us on track here. So we're going to take a deep breath. Breathe in the beautiful insights and information, and then we're going to pivot to our next amazing guest who I know you're going to love and enjoy. And I'm so excited to introduce her. I love, hear me say this, I love each person because I do, and each and every author, I just feel such a deep connection, and I'm so honored to have them be part of this project and part of this book. And so when I say that, I encourage you to build that connection too. I hope that you lean into connecting with them, whether it's the book or leaning in to connect with them directly, because they will change your life in a beautiful, powerful, positive way as they have impacted mine. So one of the individuals that has deeply impacted my life and who I thoroughly love and enjoy is our amazing Mackenzie. Her chapter is right after mine, actually, in the book, and it's starts on page 105 if you're following along. So Mackenzie Nelson is a #1 international bestselling author. She's a new author, so she has a book coming forward we're going to talk about in a moment, a bachelor's degree in business administration, is a former high school all-star basketball player, has worked for the American Red Cross advocating for blood donations, and she knows her personal story of faith and freedom can help others on their journey. Her first book will be out in September of this year, so be watching for that. And she's passionate about helping you see your circumstances through a different lens, a different perspective, to empower and support you to shine. Please welcome the amazing and dynamic Mackenzie Nelson to the show. Welcome.
Yay. Thank you for that amazing introduction. And in case you're all wondering, I can still nail a jump shot. Like, I know it's been a while, but I still get out there, and my kids they're never winning. Like, I never let them win. Anyways, this whole book and the whole process, getting connected with you, Rebecca, it's been a life-changing process for me in many ways, to use Hillary's term. It has relaunched me in unexpected ways. And that's thanks to each and every one of you that has spoken today and has inspired me and continues to inspire me with your bravery and with your stories. And I know this book is just doing so much good in the lives of people who desperately need this information. I know from my own experience, a lot of what you're speaking about, I never even considered. So just take a moment right now and really think about that, let it set in, how this is impacting millions of people out there, I think, at this point. And I'm blown away by all the stories I hear from people reading this book. And I think it's one of those things that's just going to continue. to help others for years to come. I decided to be a part of this book because I'm currently working on a solo book called My Father's Feathers, and the official launch date is September 20th with Rebecca. And as I pressed in and leaned in, this opportunity came along. And at the time when I accepted, I had no idea. It's my first go around to all this. And so all of you have been so supportive, and it's been such a positive journey. I love about the message that's coming across today, which is say yes. I think so often in life, so many of us struggle with that because we let fear hold us back, like Abby was talking about. For me, a major part of my story in this book is about how I was letting someone else define my story. I mean, for 37 years, I did whatever my mother told me to do. She thought she knew my story better than I knew my story. And I was scared to step out of that because, I didn't want to be rejected. Her approval meant everything to me. And so, Sam, what you shared about, do not let anyone else tell you to live someone else's life. That can change someone's life today. And if you're listening to this, I challenge you just to take a moment and really reflect and think about who or what are you letting define you? And what is that doing for you? How is that propelling you forward in life? Are you feeling joy, happiness, fulfillment? Or instead, are you sad? Are you depressed? Are you jealous? Are you stuck in all these immature mindsets that are holding you back? And Abby, what you said is so powerful, that fear is our friend. It really is. And that sounds like such an out there concept. But really what I've learned is if you embrace it and not be afraid to leave your comfort zone, what you'll find is you step into these wide open spaces, these unexplored terrain where you get to be a pioneer of sorts and kind of just go with the flow. And like Kara said, don't get hung up in the how. I think that stops so many people from moving forward is they think, I can't do this. And then they never get started. And really, those of us who have done it are here to tell you, we didn't know either. We just went ahead and we did it anyway. We pushed past. And on the other side of fear, we've each gained acceptance. We found kind people who are encouraging, and you can too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your powerful share. We're so excited about your book that is soon to be released. I hope everyone wrote that on the calendar. September what?
September 20th.
Yay. Yeah, September 20th. Beautiful. It's another resource we can add to our library. And I appreciate so much of the reminders that you've given us today as you've reflected on and helped us soak in. So much has been shared. As you reflect back, I'd love for you to share, do you have a final tip that you can share with us to help empower us to step forward, to share, to shine? And we'd love your contact information too.
Great. So really, when I started this journey, I was led to start writing, whether you call it an inner voice or I call it God. I heard 3 pages a day. And this propelled me into this huge relaunch of going down this journey of writing. And it was simple. I just stuck to 3 pages a day. And over the duration of 2.5 years, all of that material compiled. And then I was able to, with Rebecca's help and guidance, she's a genius. Let me just say that. She's so creative and so fun to collaborate with and so caring and nurturing. I felt like my story was in such good hands the entire time. So if you're looking to share your story or to heal or go on your own journey, if you can simply say yes, commit, and start right. I mean, I hand wrote, I got cramps in my hands from writing everything. So maybe consider typing it out so you don't have to transfer it all later like I did. Learn from me there. I'll save you some time. But yes, just start somewhere and make the commitment. And you'll see as time goes on, just sticking to that and having integrity in yourself and how much how much better you feel at like committing to something, and it changes your life. So start there. And if you want to talk to me about it, reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. You can message me. I also have my website, www.mackenziekay.nelson.com. I have a free 30-minute session. Sorry, you can talk to me a little longer than 5 minutes. Where we can hook up and talk. And I'm just here for support. You know, in my journey, it was lonely. It was hard. There were days where I could just use that extra like dose of encouragement, you know, just someone who'd been there before and was willing to kind of nurture me along the way. That's what I could do for you. So don't be afraid, push past that fear and hit me up and let's connect.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. I appreciate it. Love your share. And I encourage everyone to lean in and connect with all of our amazing experts. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank all of our guests for sharing from the heart, being led as you're led and being open to that, to bring that forward and pour into everybody that is tuning in and watching. We so appreciate it. And if anyone wants to connect on a deeper level with myself, I was realizing I didn't share my contact information. You can do so at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com, yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. There's a button at the bottom of the page that you can click on to schedule a time, and I'd be honored to talk with you. Also, I know we're running up just a minute past the time we said it would end. So I want to respect everybody's time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I so appreciate it. And we will have the replay that we're going to share out if you missed any part of our presentation today, or you want to go deeper or rewatch. Just like we can relaunch, we can rewatch, we can experience this again, and it'll probably speak some different things into your heart and spirit. So I encourage you to do that. For those of you who can hang on just a couple more moments, I did have a couple of announcements to make, because I know I personally like to be in the news. I like to know what's going on. So for those of you who have a couple more minutes, I do want to share that. So Maria, I don't know if you can put up that other slide that I had you prepare for us. And Maureen, I saw you clapping. I know she appreciates this. We have 2 anthologies coming up. So anyone watching, viewing that you're thinking about, wow, that might be an interesting thing to be part of, or I'm feeling that call, or maybe I could write a chapter. These are 2 projects that we're going to be leading and launching in 2023. So one of them is in our Expert and Influencer series, and it focuses on visibility, influence, and impact, and really helping you take that director's chair, kind of that space, and own it and take center stage of your life. So that's what that one's going to be about. That'll be releasing in February. And then the other one is Share Your Brilliance, which is going to be released in August, the end of August of 2023. And that's the 3rd in this series of our Brilliance series. This is book number 2. So if you're interested and want to see if one of them might serve you, I'd be honored to have a conversation and help you feel in. And it's one of those things that you'll know. As you fill in, as you read the description, as you touch in and see, you're going to feel that pull and know that it's calling to you. I heard some of the authors today say, I started saying yes even before I thought about it too much, or it started writing itself. You're going to feel that kind of pull when a project like this is right for you. If you don't, then it's a no, and that's okay too. But I always think it's great to know what's coming and see if they might serve you in helping you get your message out there a chapter at a time and touch and impact people's hearts and lives as you're stepping forward. And we'd be honored to be part of that journey. So check that out. You can also find that on my website, yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. And there's a link that you can click. It looks like a stack of books that says anthology opportunities. So you can click on that, learn more about them. And then today, as we bring our time to a close, I had one other announcement that I'm excited about, and Maureen Ryan Blake is going to be part of this as well. We are getting ready to, thank you, Maria, for sharing that. We are getting ready to launch an additional show. So right now we do 2 weekly shows. One of them, Maureen, I love it. One of them is Empowering Women, Transforming Lives, and that's our live broadcast radio show. We have another one called The Author's Journey that we also do on a weekly basis. And so we've been doing those for a number of years. And then we had in our heart to bring forward another show. So there's now going to be 3, and 3 is my favorite number, in case anybody wondered. 3 is my favorite number. So I believe this will be the last weekly show that we'll be doing. And it's called Ask Rebecca. So it's a series that we used to do at our live events and we used to do in magazines, and we're kind of bringing it back. So it's an opportunity where people can submit questions, things you're just wondering, and they can be business, they can be personal, they can be mindset. I always tell people you can ask all things. It doesn't mean I'll answer all things, but you can ask all things. I'm always open to that. And we're going to be addressing those questions and sharing them out in our YouTube channel. And so we're really excited to be bringing that forward. Maureen is helping us put together all the details of it, which I so appreciate. And we're excited. So you heard about it first. This is our first public announcement that this is coming, and it'll be launching in June and July. So be watching for updates around that. And that's one of those that I was approached and I said no at first, and then I eventually said yes in bringing it forward. So I'm very excited taking that step. I hope that it serves. And it has been an honor to be on the summit with all of our amazing guests, with all of our amazing speakers. I have been touched and stretched. I have pages of notes that I have taken as we've gone through our time together today. And I want to thank you for that. All of you that are viewing and watching, I encourage you to take a couple moments just for you, because you can be what you're called to be. You can step into that abundant, full, vibrant life one step at a time. And you've heard over and over today, you don't have to know how. And I love Mackenzie, you let the secret out. We didn't know how. We just took the steps. So thank you for bringing that truth forward and sharing, because it's true. And that we just keep saying yes, and we keep taking steps, and we keep showing up, and you face that fear and you dance with it. And it is so worth the journey. Know that we believe in you. We are cheering you on, and we can't wait to see you step into your brilliant purpose and shine. Take care, everyone. And we look forward to connecting